Okay. Archana, if you can hear me, could you please confirm if the live streaming is on, as it is like 2:30 already via YouTube? If you just can write, so I can just start via YouTube. If you just can write, so I can just start. So
Via YouTube.
if you just can write, so I can. I think we have to wait for like 2 minutes to admit people. There are so many people who are joining. So
If you just can write, so I
I
can.
think we have to wait for like 2 minutes to admit people. There are so many people who are joining. So
If you just can
would
write, so I
like to
can.
request we have to wait for like 2 minutes to admit people. Like mute yourself if you are not a speaker joining, or
If you just can
would
write, so I
like to
can.
request we have to wait for like 2 minutes to admit people. Like mute yourself if you are not a speaker joining, or I will start. Otherwise, we would be lacking with time and we could not give enough time to the speakers. So, welcome to Socioscopia's academic and also book discussion series. So, this is our first time to the speakers. This is our first session. Academic first book discussion session, I would say. And sorry, it's very surreal to also say that last year, on kind of on this day, on 16th February, we also had our first academic discussion series session with Shauli. And thanks to all the editors, Roudrajjal and Debjani ma'am, for accepting our invitation to be collaborators with Socioscopia for the first book discussion series ever. And we are very happy that you both accepted to talk about some pressing issues that we are currently facing and is actually a part of our lived reality, but an uncomfortable truth as well. And thanks to both of you as well as the contributors to really start unraveling all the complexities, the uncomfortable truths, the disruptiveness about the problems of the real ascribed status that we are carrying through generations. And we hardly talk about it. So let's delve into the complexity, because this is a platform more like a safety net to provide a comfortable space to talk about the uncertainties that we deal with in our own identity setup. And I think this book is very timely, very consciously dealing with all the complexities. And let's dive deeper into all the complexities. The title itself is very consciously, I think, conceptualized to unravel all the uh, disruptiveness, the complexities, to bring out all the complexities within it, and to deconstruct all the myths, the stereotypes that we carry in our belongingness. And it's about beyond Dalit women. When we conceptualize Dalit women, we have certain forms of imaginations, but we kind of had to renegotiate with this. And let's talk about the book now. And I would like to invite first to the editors of the book, Dr. Debjani Sahu, and also Mr. Roudrajjal Dasgupta. So, yeah, first I would like to give their a brief bio about what they do, so that you all can get a sense. And then I would like to introduce all the other excellent, brilliant contributors and panelists without whom the book would not be have formed, about them a little bit. So it's a lot of talking from my end at first, and then I would give the floor to all of you to interact. Okay, let's start. All right. So first, I would start with Dr. Debjani Sahu, who is a scholar, a media practitioner, and also a Dalit human rights activist, also a project lead, so has multiple hats together at the National Dalit Movement for Justice, which is a unit at National Campaign on Dalit Human Rights in New Delhi. She holds a PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru University, where her research explored the identity of the Indian diaspora in South Africa and the role of Indian media. Her work bridges the fields of media, caste, and gender, critically examining how the narratives of Dalit and Adivasi women are shaped, silenced, or reimagined within the dominant public discourse. Dr. Sahu has represented India's perspective at international platforms, including the Office of the United Nations Higher Commissioner for Human Rights, consultation on decent based discrimination in Bangkok. She has contributed to national and international publications such as NDMG NCDHR's report on Sustainable Development Goals 16 indicators on Dalit and Adivasi rights in 2023, and co-authored a chapter on the absence of Dalit narratives in pandemic media coverage in multidisciplinary reflections on COVID-19 crisis in India. And we would like to also introduce, thanks to all the amazing work that you're doing, and would also like to introduce Mr. Roudrajjal Dasgupta as well, who is also the co-editor of this brilliant book, is an independent researcher with an MA in sociology from Pondicherry University in India. He worked as a research assistant on the ICSSR funded project Transgender Tourism and Inclusivity in West Bengal at IIT ISM Dhanbad back in 2018 and 19. He also served as a lecturer at Government Girls General Degree College in Kolkata from 2019 to 2021, and as a junior consultant and SRS field supervisor for the Census 2021 project under the Ministry of Home Affairs. His research interests include the sociology of cinema, culture, media, nudity and sexuality, lesbian studies, fan cultures, porn studies, erotic culture, audience studies, comic books culture, and so on and so forth. The list goes long and long. So welcome to Rodroda for also undertaking this journey on together with us. And yeah, do should we also introduce the speakers now, or do we just proceed with both of your talk, because it's me just talking, and then I would introduce all the panelists. But I would just first name the panelists who are going to talk about their contributions. Is Tiasha Day here? She's also a part of the panel. I cannot see her in the polls.
Will take a minute
Okay,
to start.
okay, good. Pooja Jha, yes, I can see you. Tanya Basu.
Yes, I'm
Hello?
yeah.
Yeah, you were there. Okay, good. And Niharika Deka, is she here? Or Vinay? I Vinay? No. Okay. Uh, Niharika Vinay. Okay. Irene Datta, are you there?
Hello, I'm there. Yeah.
Good. Kasturi Ghosh? No. Okay. Let's see if they join later. Ayushi Sharma? No. Okay. Ayantika Majumdar? No. And Jagoshani?
Yes,
She
I'm
was
here. Yeah.
great. So let's start. And I would first like to give the floor to both the co-editors to introduce about the book a little bit more, and then I would quickly go to the contributors, the panelists, so that we can also introduce a little bit about themselves and just directly listen to their work as well. So over to you, Dr. Debjani Sahu first, and then Roudrajjal Dasgupta. Yeah.
Thank you, Gurni, for taking this effort for this lovely, amazing gathering of such brilliant scholars, those who has contributed, and also to bring into the interest of such a subject, which was very much needed. So, first of all, I would like to already she has Gurni has given a very detailed profile, but that is more of a professional background that she has discussed. To start with, before starting talking about the book, I would really like to talk a little bit about me so that you can understand why it is of such a significance to me. So, Myself, Debjani, I'm born and raised in Delhi, New Delhi, the heart of India, the capital of India. And yet, the subject of caste has never been discussed. See, I am specifically from a very humble background where my parents, who have migrated at the age of 12 to 14 from their hometown, West Bengal, to Delhi, so they left their hometown in such a age that they were not even aware that actually this is the result of like caste or like the why this continuous vicious circle of poverty and migration is happening. So they left in a period where they were not even aware of their own identity. Gradually, when they came here, they made their life here. The only objective to survive in Delhi was the livelihood and to give the next generation a better life. And the only opportunity to make the next generation with a better life was education. So, yes, our parents worked hard for that. And that is where we focused on. But the subject of caste, discrimination, identity, about Dalit identity, is very, very subtle in metropolitans, urban setups, and specifically in Northern Belt. So it is never a part of our curriculum. It has never been any subject of discussion in the schools. And even in college, I was like a student of journalism honors. When I was like in ninth or 10th, I studied about this Reuters chapter where the objective of Reuters was like to be the voice for the voiceless. So there's some, I don't know why, but at that point of time also, always found that we have to be the voice for the most marginalized. But I myself was not aware that I am also one of the marginalized and discriminated on different intersectionality. Why I do not have the access to various things and which was very normalized for us. Like if I want to pursue a course in some private institute and it is of like 2 lakh fees or something, I myself only will decide, no, I can't do that because we don't have that much of capital. But that is, we already have schemes, we have overseas scholarships and all. But how many of the person from the Dalit community are aware of it? So this the thing of own identity I was not much aware of. So thanks to the present organization where I am currently working, which is National Campaign for Dalit Human Rights, which specifically focus on Dalit rights, Dalit issues on different areas. But somewhere when I was working, I really found one major gap in specifically I joined in COVID period, and I can see the absenteeism of coverage of Dalit issues in mainstream media. So when we talk about mainstream media, it is news channels, mainly news channels like India Today, in Aaj Tak, and see, like TV 18 and all the major news channels, Z News, they hardly ever covered any of the or otherwise it will be only caste atrocity or reservation. These are the two subjects that the mainstream media dealt ever. Similarly, when I was also looking deeper into the subject in the cinema, in other films or other categories also of media, the similar kind of pattern has been found. And as Gurni started with the discussion, like there will be uncomfortable truths and this thing. So yes, one of the most uncomfortable truth is many people ask me, "You don't look Dalit," because we have the stereotyped image. Even my son, who is like 10-year-old, but born and raised in Delhi, he said, "Why all the Dalits are brown in color?" So that is the concept and idea and the narrative. So then we and me and Rodru, I connected through LinkedIn, a beautiful platform for like-minded people. And there I realized that what he is working on, like how in different media platforms, in different films, categories, he deals deeper into it and has a better understanding of it. So I thought, why not to collaborate together and bring out this subject? because even the erotica, the nudity, the porn industry, also a large number of the women are from the community. But now the thing is, the change in narrative happened with the present shift in the internet and OTT platforms and all. Now, rather than being the victimhood that has always been labeled in various forms of media, now they are taking the agency to be the power of it. So, this book is an effort to bring out the different forms of voices and the shift and change in dynamics. So, to start with, it took little more of your time, I think, but that is just the background. I would like Rodru to further add on to it, and then we can have further engagement. Yeah, that is from my end, Gurni. Anything specific, if anybody wants, then I'm fine for that.
I have already posted in the chat after your very insightful, flowing connections from your own personal experience of why this topic particularly is important to your own livelihood, lives, how it came up, and so that other people can also share their own stories, their own experiences to connect to what the book is also delving about. And this is like an interactive discussion. It's not just panelists who are just speaking or not the editors who are speaking, but also I would like to invite all the other members who have joined this session to also share your own experience if you would like, and also if that is convenient for you to share. And also maybe if you are speakers of Hindi or Bengali, we all kind of try to understand that and can translate your message in any case. So if you feel free to share your own insights as well. And over to you also, Rudroda, to share your own insights being a co-editor of the book. And also I would be personally interested to know what the challenges that you have experienced when you came up with the topic. And yeah. I'm not sure. Am I audible or no?
Yes, you are, but I can't see
Gurni, am I audible?
Yeah.
You are audible now. Yes. Yes. You're audible now.
Hello.
Now we can. Yes, it's coming.
There seems to be network issue, no?
This is some network issues. Otherwise, what I can do is, if Rudrada, if you're comfortable with it, then what I can do is I can quickly introduce all the contributors, and then if your network is back, we can go over to you to learn from your insights. Is that fine? I think there's some network issue ongoing. I would like to briefly. The network is back.
Okay, okay,
So
surely.
you,
You go ahead.
over to you. Your network is back. So over to you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm back again.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so first of all, thank you so much, Gurmi, and to your entire Socioscopia to organizing this wonderful event. And thanks to all the contributors, okay, all the like participants here, and also thanks to Debjani, the way she narrated everything. And of course, the credit goes to Debjani because like 2 years back on December 2024, one fine winter evening, suddenly I received a text over LinkedIn from Debjani. And then eventually, this entire collaboration, this entire project, it did happen. And of course, like when actually, Guni, you were introducing me, okay, and you were telling regarding my arenas and background and everything, long list, as you said. The long list is because, since my childhood, I'm a huge fan of visual culture, mostly cinema, comic books. Okay, so that's why like whatever currently the work I'm doing or my research arenas. Okay, as I'm from the field of sociology, and if you see from the Indian sociological point of view, these kind of works are very rare, and hardly I get co-authors or people to collaborate with because the kind of bold, raw, hard-hitting topics I work on. Okay, I get just a lot of time. So when, to be very honest, one fine winter evening back in December 2024, when I received the message from Debjani, I literally got surprised. I thought, okay, whether it's a spam text or not. But anyway, so eventually the so-called collaboration happened, and now whatever we're doing. And regarding this project, for example, Beyond Dalit Women, the book. To be very honest, as I'm from, like my interests are mostly related to visual media, cinema, comic books, erotica, and everything. So when talked with Debjani, she narrated me, she discussed with me. So I thought, okay, like of course, there are a lot of Dalit literature, Dalit history, Dalit sociology that we get, okay, from our academia, from our Indian social science. But when I and they genuinely both of us did discuss, we thought like, why not if we can tweak it a bit, okay, and if we can bring some aspects of popular culture and can connect with the Dalit history, with the Dalit literature, with beyond Dalit women, okay. Of course, now even I got many counter questions that why beyond Dalit women only? Why not Dalit men? Okay. I got this kind of questions, to be very honest. Okay. But the thing is that here, the Dalit women, okay, beyond Dalit women, it's a symbol. Okay. Women, like, of course, in our Indian culture, we worship our mother goddess. Okay. Even in our family, we respect our mother first. Okay. Because all our bonding, emotional connection, attachment, everything, tradition, norms, values that we inherit, we inherit from our mother first. Okay. Then, in the second stage, probably, our father, they comes. Okay. Because all our emotional bonding and attachment is with our mother. So here is this beyond Dalit women, it's symbolic. Okay. Dalit women doesn't mean, okay, we are actually, disseminating all the men, we are eliminating all the men. Okay. So that should be understood. Otherwise, it would be problematic because I got this kind of questions. Nevertheless, so, this beyond Dalit women, I don't want to like go deeper into, you know, like what are the chapters are about beyond Dalit women. For that, you have to, grab the copy, you have to read, okay, you have to understand. But what I can say, like, of course, there are a lot of books, a lot of work, a lot of texts on Dalit history, on Dalit movement, Dalit culture, like exploitation, suppression, oppression. But here in our work, through our work, we actually tried like we have tried to give a different kind of a vision and aspect like never before. Okay. So that's why basically we have tried our best. Of course, as this is our first collaboration venture, of course, there might be a lot of, technical mistakes, fallacies, everything, but still we have tried our best to give a different kind of a vision like never before. And like, me and Debjani, both of us, we just go on talking every time that if everything goes well, then we have a plan to bring a 2.0 version of this Beyond Dalit Women.
All right. So Debjani ma'am has something to add to what you said. Over to you.
Thank you, Rodro, for explaining so nicely about the book. And like he said, why Dalit women? Because one of the major reason was like it is symbolic to make it more like it is for the most marginalized. They are like there are layers of discrimination when it is about Dalit women. So we wanted to highlight that, and it is not strictly limited to Dalit women. If you go into there are different intersectionality and binaries and their challenges also in this book. Some of our we will not share the details about the chapter, but there are chapters wherein our some amazing contributors, they spoke about the intersectionality of being Dalit lesbian woman and trans Dalit woman, and so on and so forth. So this has a different layers. It is like if we I just want to give a little bit of glimpse of our chapter which me and Rodro we worked on. So he has a very, as he already mentioned, love for visual media. So comics is one area we where he is expert of the comics, and wherein we try to look into the depth where do any of the Dalit character exist or not, and we luckily found one. But how understated, how they have represented, or how it exists, that you have to read and understand the chapter. So yes, we tried to bring into different layer, like Mahashata Devi and literature, what she talks about. Then in the recent mainstream news channels, how it is being covered about when it is Nirbhaya's case and it is the Hathras case, how the two cases have been dealt with. So similarly, in OTT platform, there are some very good vocal influencers. So this book actually tried to bring into different layers. So now we have amazing contributors also. I think they can further share more. That is what I wanted to add.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, both to Debjani ma'am and Rudroda, for your insightful contribution, as well as you both also contributed to the book. There's one chapter from slum to superpowers, and also for co-editing the book, because I think it's a journey from your own personal experiences towards your professional commitment to actually bring out the marginalized voices, the silenced narratives to the fore. And also, I think all the first attempts are very bold, are very courageous, are very disruptive, and we need it. And that's why we are here to talk about it more and more and more. And now it's high time that we give the floor to all the contributors without whom the book would not have been possible to formalize, to take shape, basically. I have to admit one person again. Okay. So I think I could. Yeah. Welcome. Yeah. So I have written down some of their introductions. Initially, Ayantika was not there. I think now she is, because I admitted her. If you are here, please, can you just say it so that I can start with you? And
Yeah, yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
perfect. So, yeah. So Ayantika is currently an Erasmus Mundus scholar. As well, her research interests span around the gender, body politics, post-colonial studies, and she's doing her master's in gender studies as well as women's studies. Like she did her first year in Utrecht University, and currently is in her second year, if I'm not wrong, in the Central European University. So, yeah, over to you, Arantika, if you would like to share a little bit brief about your chapter, how it felt for you, what was challenging, why this topic is important to you, and how do you feel about it in general?
Thank you so much for the introduction. And also, I will like to thank Debjani ma'am and Rodroda because actually, about this chapter, course, I initially wrote it when I was doing my first master's in St. Xavier's University, which I did in English literature. So during the dissertation, like for master's dissertation, I wrote down this like this as like on Dalit woman. So basically, the thing started from a conference that I attended in Midnapur, which was on like Dalit woman and their life stories, oral histories. So from there, I started like working on seeing some of the literature that is present here. Like I just found out some of the sources on Meena Kandaswamy. I'm sorry about the title if I'm saying it wrong. So and then I started developing my interest here, like on this particular genre of subaltern woman, specifically focusing on Dalit women. So when I then decided to do my dissertations, like my thesis, master's thesis, I took up the chapter of Moshata Devi's book, like two books, Breast Stories, and then another one on Outcast. So from there, I selected four stories particularly, which is also I wrote for this like for this publications. And one of them is like very famous Draupadi, the character of Draupadi, which is very inspiring. So I started working. I started reading on that, attending many of the scholarly lectures on that, and then I developed my paper on this. But then I made Rodhroda in one of the conferences where I presented my paper, which is like on body politics of subaltern women, particularly focusing on on the character of Draupadi, and also I'm just forgetting the name of another character in Stondini, like the breast giver story. So then I presented the paper there, and Rodhroda actually, I talked to Rodhroda about this, and Rodhroda actually informed me about to go for this, submit for this publication. And there I tried to incorporate also the idea of effective theory from Sarah Ahmed, which is there like the in my final submission. So yeah, so this has been the process, and the challenging part is to, because this is a literature which I think very famous and everyone has read. So it was a bit difficult to make it to bring out the points which has to be very relevant to others. I mean, they can also relate and they can also find the relevance. So the thing I added with affective theory is something that we deal with in everyday's life, and trying to adjust that with Sarah Ahmed's and sorry, trying to adjust that with this kind of famous character like Draupadi. I think I found it a bit initially not very good idea, but then I went on that. So yeah, that was like entire thing. And yes, I think hopefully it turned out to be good.
Yeah, really looking forward to read your contribution. Sounds very insightful. It's so
Thank you.
intriguing book that all the copies are sold in the Delhi book fair. So we do not have our copies yet, but soon we will buy it. And over to Ayushi Sharma next, if you are here. Ayushi, if you are here, just could you please unmute and so that I can introduce you? No. Okay, let's go to the next because yeah, Irene, I can see you, so you're here. And first, I would say I would give a brief bio about what Irene does. So she is currently pursuing masters in sociology at Pondicherry University in India, with a focus on gender sociology and environmental sociology. So over to you, Irene, if you would like to share some of your insights, experiences of contributing to the book, and why the topic is so relevant for your for taking up this topic.
Yeah, so thank you, Goni, for passing on the floor to me. So, yeah, I'm currently pursuing my master's in Pondicherry University, and like the time I contributed to this book was when I was in Jadavpur, living in my hometown, Calcutta. So, the reason for contributing to this extremely relevant book beyond Dalit women was is the primary reason being my institution, Jadavpur University. Like the kind of readings my professors have had introduced me with, like beginning with Sharmila Regate to Gopal Guru and everything, like the way I have been introduced to gender and sociology and the intersectionality of caste that was there has always been an inspiration to me, and I always wanted to contribute something in and around this. So when I got to see this poster in LinkedIn, and I thought of a very interesting topic, like the contribution that I had in this book is how Instagram is a space where Dalit women are getting accepted. Like it's all about the politics of acceptance that we get to see through a very important social media space that is Instagram. So the primary thing for how when I began writing this paper was something that Carol Hanisch wrote, or like how Carol Hanisch has always inspired us with the thing that her personal is political, or the how radical feminism has been a very integral part of when we try to understand the intersectionality of caste, gender, and politics, especially in India. So, considering Dalit women, their acceptance, their their kind of visibility in spaces, in the spaces of media, is exactly how these theoretical interventions, these school of thoughts have always played a very crucial role. So I started writing this paper with a very important essay called "The Shadow and Substance," written by Wendy Silly Harrison, of how sex gender debate, the primary idea of the second wave feminism. So it began with all of that, like how sex was always a substance and gender was the shadow behind it. Like that is exactly the debate that I wanted to put forward, and that exactly followed how exactly Dalit women nowadays are getting accepted through the platform of Instagram. Like the saris they're wearing, the jewelries that we see, the influencers wearing the jewelries, the saris, the way they're making the bun, even the bun cages that we get to see, it's getting so much popularity. Like even 10 years back we could not have thought of such a thing, but now we see, so there's so many Dalit women influencers who are coming up, and as like as individuals who are in this age group of 20s, like we are in our 20s and we are like interacting with social media spaces every day. And so it was a part of my social media engagement that I came across so many Dalit women, and how they were sharing the lifestyles and their fashion senses, and how people were loving it, people were accepting it. So it's again like a kind of identity that we see, a kind of acceptance of an identity in a virtual space. But again, when we kind of come across Dalit women to be like quote unquote in real life, are is that acceptance the same as it is in the virtual space? That's a question I think we have to address in the coming or the forthcoming years as well. So also, like, I tried to draw a very comparative analysis of how Ray had shown in Orune Dinratri, the character of Dooli, like she was also a tribal woman, her appearance and the way she was kind of objectified by the men in and around her, and also like that is something like the indigenous beauty. That is something people always praise, but then again there is a sort of I would say eroticism or a sense of objectification that stays with it. So that's how I've tried to contribute to this book. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Irene, for such intriguing comments, your experiences, and also bringing up the presence of social media into mainstreaming identity, linking it with indigenous communities, caste, everything. So, thank you so much. To add to your point, just one sentence, maybe it's not going to take longer. Recently, there is a social media influencer called Pujarini. She also addressed this issue that how regional specialities and caste issues are so much coming into play, and it has been like gaining a lot of views since then. So I just found it quite relevant what you also said. So kudos to you for bringing up this point. All right, let's admit people, and then oh my. I hope everybody's admitted. Yeah. All right. So next is I do not know if Ayushi Sharma is there, but if not, then I would like to go to Kosturi Ghosh if she's here. Kosturi, if you are here, please unmute yourself. No. All right. Then I would like to go to Tiasha De, whom I can see. So Tiasha is a PhD research scholar in the Department of English at Aligarh Muslim University. And her research interest lies in the area of literary theory and popular culture, if I am not wrong. So over to you, Tiasha. Share your experience and how it felt so relevant for you to contribute to this book, and how is your overall experience? Yeah, over to you.
Good evening, everybody. So, um, you like For me, to pinpoint the initial point where I started thinking about the book is a bit difficult because I started uh, thinking about this topic when I came across the poster, which my friend Roudrajjal was editing along with Debjani. So for me, contributing to this book was more like uh, I thought, since he was starting as an editor, his first venture, let me contribute something if I am that, uh, if my topic is interesting. But I just thought, let me give this a shot. And then gradually, things became intense when I started researching about it, and I came across this book by Mohini Vara, which is a speculative fiction which talks about two timelines, 1950s India and a near future India, and how Dalits are treated. It essentially talks about Dalit capitalism as well as Dalit futurism. So I started going down the rabbit hole, and then I felt that, Mohini Vara, who herself is a Dalit and she's living abroad in New York. Uh, for her, the Dalit experience was not akin to those who um, live in India in small villages. So how would she approach to this topic? How would she, um, you know, think of Dalitism, of being Dalit, um, where for her, being Dalit would also mean having a shared history with her with her parents, and she imagines a future where Dalits are empowered, where they are through education, through capitalistic mobilization, they are gaining recognition in the society. And that is how I formulated my chapter. I'm very unfortunate that I couldn't be at the international book fair in New Delhi because I was not doing well at that time. But I'm very happy that we have run out of the first stop, and I wish to read the other chapters that the fellow contributors have written, because as as I listen to them discussing diverse perspectives concerning Dalit literature, the visual culture concerning Dalits. It is very interesting, and still, even after having written my chapter and listening to all the contributors, sometimes I feel that uh, it is very important to advertise this book more, like what we are doing and how this book was launched in the book fair, because many books are written, but only a few books or only a few pieces of work reach those who actually need to read about them, who actually need to listen to these narratives. Because uh, most of us are empowered, those who are Dalits or non-Dalits, they're empowered to write and to put it out in the world. But as you talked about Pujarini Pradhan, kudos to her. Being from a remote village, uh, speaking in broken English, yet she isn't giving up on that privilege. Even if I know a little bit of something, I'm trying to polish it further. And this is, I think, very important as far as downtrodden, be it women or men or children, even Dalit children who are discriminated at different places while they're playing or maybe in school, uh, at these places. I think I would love them to have this book, to either to read this or to listen to the narratives that are here. So this is all I can say. And one thing I really want to highlight, which I felt very happy about, is that many of us write books and then there is no communication from the end of the editors. But while I was writing this book, and all the dates and every communication that was maintained brilliantly. Kudos to the editors for that, because when we write about something, and these things get very delayed, or there is no communication from the end of the editors. Sometimes I feel like we get so personal that uh, we kind of hold grudges against the topic itself. We would be like, we don't want to write on this topic. We would switch to something and like that. So when we are encouraged by each and every component that is there, which is making this book up, uh, I think for me it is a great lesson and it is a great experience. And I would also like to work on Dalit literature more because of this beautiful experience. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Tiasha, for your exceptionally bringing out not only your own insightful contribution, but also shaking our chairs of privilege. Because generally we do not accept as a part of our privilege. And I think I totally agree on the layers, because Debjani ma'am was bringing out on this topic initially that layers of injustice have been practiced and preached throughout generational knowledge production, towards generational practices, embodied practices. And as I was also mentioning about all the uncomfortable truths. So, yeah, these are the uncomfortable truths we know, but we do not talk about it. So, thank you for shaking our privileged standpoints. Devjani ma'am had a brilliant comment on the midday meal of children and how Dalit community children are discriminated. I would like to give the floor to her because her hands are raised. So please go ahead.
Sorry to take up the time of others. I would not discuss much about this midday meal thing, but rather I just want to add about the privilege. Like one of the major reason also for me to bring out this book was like most of the Dalit literature uh, is not narrated by the Dalits. So it's more of from the dominant community. It is coming down, like our perspective, our narration is done by someone else. So this was like owning the ownership of the knowledge. So that was one of the major reason to come up with this book. And also at this point of time, if I talk about privilege, so I still have the privilege to read and write this, but many from my community only, they do not have this access. So many of my people, my community people, if it would have been in any other regional language, rather either in Hindi or Bengali, I think this book would definitely get much more uh, I think reach, because our people still don't have this privilege to read in English. Yeah, that is what privilege is.
Thanks to Debjani ma'am for your insightful comment on the matters of privilege. I think injustice is not just rooted within us, but also it's a matter of fact that it decides whether we should live in this society or not, whether we should celebrate our birthdays in this society or not. Because recently a news came up that a boy from the Dalit community cut a cake on his birthday and got killed by the upper caste people. And it's a matter of shame because I am from a upper caste person, and it's a matter of shame that we are continuously, perpetually discriminating our, not only like human rights is a big term. So it's like living rights itself, like your survival is dependent on somebody's dictatorship or something like that. Somebody is trying to create a normative world for you, whether you should live, whether you should get access to basic human rights facilities or not. And that's why I think it's very crucial and very important to dismantle and disrupt this nexus, like this layers of injustice. And I think this book is very timely, as mentioned by uh, Tiasha, that how this is an evolving practice that we should all go through and we should all preach, even within the academy and outside the academy, especially for the people, as Tiasha was also mentioning, for empowering others who are not having those amenities or those privileges within ourselves. So kudos to all the contributors. I would like to first, before going any to the introduction, I would like to first stress on the fact that we are running out of time, which always happens. So we just have 6 minutes to this call. And I would like to request all the contributors, panelists, members, please rejoin this same link again, because we do not have a paid version of this Google Meet. So we are really sorry about this fact, but please rejoin so that we can keep the discussion ongoing, because it has been very intriguing to learn from other scholars, and we really want to give the floor to all the other speakers so that equally they can eloquently present their own findings and their own experiences. So please rejoin with the same enthusiasm that you did for the first round. And we have 5 minutes more. So I would like to go with Niharika Deka if you are here. No, maybe not. Then I would like to go to Vinay if you are here. To quickly introduce you at first. I'm not sure if you're here. If you're here, please unmute yourself and say a hello or something so that I know. Um, or no, because I saw the person anyway. Anyway, so let's proceed with Pooja Jha, if you are here.
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Hi. Yes. Okay. So she's doing a master's in gender studies, and her research is into marginalized identities, politics of representation, centering around caste, gender, and media. So over to you, Pooja.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for the introduction, but I have completed my master's 4 year back.
Okay.
So five
Okay.
actually.
Sorry. Sorry.
No
My
problem,
bad.
no problem. It's totally fine. It's been 5 years actually. I wish I could go back and like do all over that again. It was a beautiful journey for me, but absos I cannot. So
Really
anyway,
sorry for the
no problem.
introduction.
No, not an issue, not an
It
issue. It
was
happens.
unintentional.
Yeah, of course I know. It's just no problem, no problem.
Go
So
ahead.
I was just listening to all of the contributors and of course our editors, and it was a great learning to understand how, because we all were writing from different part of country and from different mindset for one book, which was amazing, amazing. I was just taken aback like how each one of us has a different idea about one book which we all contributed, and I think this is alone a very beautiful concept, a very beautiful thing, that we all come from a same mindset, same idea, same I would say I like to say bubble because I feel comfortable when I talk people like who think like me. It's like a very beautiful bubble because when I go outside, it bursts and I feel a little like uncomfortable. So it was a very beautiful bubble listening all of the contributors and of course our editors. And then so it just and I am now excited as much as anyone else in this, like whoever wants to read this. Like I am excited now to read all the contributors, the idea they represented, of course, our editors who wrote a chapter, to see how it came out, to see how what I wrote came out. Because as a student of journalism and as a student of gender studies, who also worked in media houses, and now I'm working in social sector, and my works around in gender domain. I have worked with marginalized communities, but as we were talking about intersectionality and identities, in how like I think at the one point I think Rudra mentioned that why not Dalit men, why only women? Because I think women, not I think women are always at the bottom of the layer, and when it's come to like comparing an upper caste woman and a Dalit women are multiply marginalized because they are also beyond Dalit men, because the patriarchal, they are not only tackling the Brahminical patriarchy, they are tackling the patriarchy which they get from their own community. So it's a layered discrimination against Dalit women. And in general, women who feel like they're coming from upper caste, women have no identity. You have your father's identity, and when you marry to a woman, you have your husband identity. It's never your identity. So even when women coming from upper caste and they say, I might get a lot, I always get a lot of hate for saying like things like this. But women who say that I'm coming from upper caste or whatever, like, because I do too, I understand that. Of course, I get also get like benefit of coming from a particular caste. My title gives me a lot of benefit, but then again, it's not mine. It's my father's who gave me this. So there is a lot of layer when it comes to identity, and it's come to writing. Oh, so I think the call is ending soon.